Hey everyone, welcome to another top 10 list. This week's top 10 list is my top 10 most recent added books. Um, I have recently bought a collection from Ryan's Currency Collection, and there were quite a few books that he had sent with. I wasn't aware that he was actually going to be sending them, so they were a pleasant surprise to me, and most of them were really cool. I haven't read them all, but I've thumbed through them, and pretty impressive. I also have a couple books that I had gotten just before then, and one other book that I have that I don't know if I've shown. I've had it for a while. It's pretty cool. Anyway, top 10 recently acquired books. Number 10. My friend Dennis was a huge collector in the past, and he had to sell his collection off. And this is the CAA Currency Auctions of America Incorporated book. You can see here spring auction sale May 19th and 20th of 2000 at Rosemont, Illinois. And these were all of the items up for sale in that particular auction. And this auction consisted of, I want to say, about only 3 different people. And Dennis was one of the people who had contributed his collection. So the vast majority of the notes in this book, well, I don't know about the majority, but quite a few of the auction items in this book were from his collection. Now, considering it's currently 2023, and this was from 2000, this book is 23 years old, but not only is the book 23 years old, so are the starting bids and stuff are 20 years old. Well, I don't even know that it lists the starting bids on here, but I do have a page showing what they sold for at the time. He sent that to me as well. But yeah, so many different errors, things like that. Just a fascinating book to contrast with what he had in his collection, and he sent me these sold prices as well. But yeah, so many cool things. Just to thumb through something from that long ago. I say that long ago. It was 2000, so for most of us, that feels like yesterday. But yeah, that was just a cool find and a cool thing to thumb through. So thank you once again, Dennis, for sending me this. It's really cool, and it is something that I treasure and keep with all of my good stuff. That is number 10. Number 9. I may have shown this one before. This is collecting Confederate paper money. This was sent to me by a viewer. I believe it was Blkcrypto that sent me this book. Very, very cool book. You'll see me using it on occasion. This deals strictly with Confederate paper money, and it goes into a little bit of the history to start with, the different issuing types, and all the different things that you need to know. Talks about grade, talks about cancellation, talks about all kinds of different aspects of the money. But then more importantly, once you get into it, the note is by type 3, type 54, all the way to type 64. Every type note. And when you start talking about the types, most of us just assume that that's the note. We forget that there are variations. This book not only covers the different varieties, it also covers different errors. It covers how to spot errors on some of the different things. It does have a price guide, which, of course, I think this book was published in 2009, if I remember correctly. No, more recent than that, 2014. So that means the prices are still almost 10 years old. But the important part is to know it's more important to know that this note is worth $300 compared to this note being worth $3,000, and so on down the line. So just to give examples like that, and here's a type 62. They're listing all the different varieties, and they give prices for the different varieties as well. Very, very helpful note. You could sit here and just go through eBay with this note open and pick all kinds of varieties out if you had the time and the money to do so. It's nice when you can find a $1,000 variety that most people think is only worth $100 that is only being sold for $50. But with a book like this, you'll be able to do something like that. So yeah, very cool book. Very glad to have this book. Thank you once again, Blkcrypto. That is number 9. Number 8. I picked up this book. You can see this book is old. I got this at a show, and at the show, you can barely read what it says here. Selections from the Numismatist. So that is this particular book. When I went to the show, they had a whole table full of old stuff, and it just said free. And I saw this book, and I'm like, okay, I will grab this book because it has to do with United States paper money. And most people, of course, are into coins at shows. And, well, that's neat. It used to be a library book. Does it say which library? Do No, it doesn't say which library. I wonder if it says it. No, it was probably in the dust jacket. Nothing on the top, nothing there. Okay. So the fact that it was a library book is kind of cool. All right, selections from the Numismatist. Okay. Now, this is just really interesting. It tells all kinds of history about the motto. There was "In God We Trust," counterstamp rejected coins. I mean, there's all kinds of different things here. But I swear, when I literally just popped open this book like this. Popped it open, and what page is it? The word Dixie derives from an old banknote. Okay, now I firmly believe that the closer to an event happening that the information was written, the more accurate the information. Okay, for instance, if something happened 50 years ago, do you want to see anything written about it from 10 years ago or from 40 years ago? Okay, well, 40 years ago happened just after the event, so that's where you want to do. Okay, this book being, let's see what we have for a date. Copyright 1960. So this book is over 60 years old, so the information is over 60 years old, which means the information is much closer to the time of the event. So, let's see if I can find this in here. Let's see, the song Dixie they're talking about here, and the song Dixie was by Northern Birth, or was it here? Anyway, what this says here is that, where did it go? Let me check this side here. Here we go. Few people outside the realm of numismatics and Louisiana banking history know the origin of the word Dixie, or are familiar with the famous Civil War song referred to the Southern Confederate States as Dixieland. Popular supposition is the imaginary Mason-Dixon line, separating the North from the Southern states, had something to do with coining the word. But Dixie did not derive from Dixon. It came from the $10 bill issued by a New Orleans bank during the 1845 to 1862 period, and that is the Dix note. And of course, the back of the note says Dix. The traders, right there, above is the reverse of the Dix note. It is printed in brick red ink. The word Dix appears prominently once on the face and twice on the back. Even those who could not ordinarily read soon learned a Dix bill by this symbol. And that, according to this book, is where the term Dixie came from. So anything that you read after this that says, no, it was Mason-Dixon, there you go. There's a book from way back when stating that. All right, so that's number 3. Or I should say 10-9, number 8. Number 7, and as far as the rest of these notes go, the rest of these books go, these are stuff from Ryan's currency collection, the books that I had gotten from him. Number 7, he included United States currency, large size, small size, fractional, and this particular one is the 8th edition. And of course, the nice part about this book is the book is in full color. You can see the color of the seals as you start thumbing through it. You can see all the different color seals. It's got prices, of course, in there, but having a full color, oh, check that out. The test notes. I will definitely have to read that chapter here just to make sure that everything I've got about those is accurate. That is neat. I didn't even notice that in there before as I'm thumbing through all this stuff. These are the Giori test notes. Anyway, as we continue to flip through, you can see, yes, the book is full color, and it is easily handheld. I know that paper money of the United States is slightly bigger and a little tougher to have in your hand when you're at a show, but to have these in full color, very, very cool. Having the prices of all the different notes. That's that. And this was interesting because this is the 8th edition. I didn't have the 8th edition. I checked my books, and I do have United States currency large size, but mine is the 5th edition, and so this one is the 8th edition, so it's 2 years newer. Granted, I like the note that's on the cover of this one better, and well, it's cool that I have all of these. That's always interesting. Anyway, that is number 1098. Number 7, United States Currency official Whitman Guidebook. Number 6. I thought this was interesting. The official Red Book, Checklist and Record Book of United States paper money, with Freiberg and Whitman numbering systems. Keep track of your postage currency, fractional currency, federal series 1s through 10,000s, encased postage stamps, aeronauts, mules, and so on. What is this? It's exactly what it says. It's a checklist. That's all it is. You go through, and it lists every single type of note, hundreds. And if we flip back, I bet you they get bigger. 500s, thousands, thousands, 5,000, 10,000. Yeah, but if we flip this way, of course, you got all the 500s, all the hundreds. And it's quite literally a checklist. All the different Federal Reserves, all the different banks. And you can literally check off the notes that you have in your collection. Now, who wouldn't want to have a book like this and be able to check all the boxes? Of course, that would be ridiculously hard to do. And I'm not one who likes to write in books, and I see that Ryan didn't write in this one either. But if you wanted a complete resource as to what was in there, this is the book. And then you can always, of course, photocopy specific lists and make your stuff that way. So this was really cool as an add to my collection. That is number 6. Number 5. I have not seen this one before. This is U.S. Aeronaut Encyclopedia by Stephen M. Sullivan. And, of course, it covers all different types of errors. This one is the 2nd edition, so that's good. It talks about errors. It talks about, let's see, mixed denominations. Which notes had mixed denominations. I mean, there's... It's not full color, but the pictures are there to give you the example that you're looking for. There's an inverted star. That's always interesting to find. People don't even know that that's a thing. Notice the star is upside down. But yeah, it goes through all these different things here about each and every single potential error that you can find. A very helpful note as far as determining what is an error, what isn't an error, what are examples of. I get questions all the time. People will send me pictures. Is this an error? What do you think this is worth? And if there's not an example, then it's probably not an error. If you have something weird about a note and there isn't another one out there, more than likely it's circulation damage. But this book is the encyclopedia of errors and covers just about every error you can come up with. So when you want to know if something is legit, well, here's your reference as to whether or not it existed in the first place. So that is number 5 on the list. Number 4. Number 4 is... This is a military payment certificates book, 1946 to 1973, the complete series. At least that's what it says, but I don't think that's correct, and you'll see why in a minute. Now, what is this? This book literally shows a close-up picture of the front of each and every MPC, okay? It's not front and back, that's too bad. It's just the front, though. So you can see what every single individual, here's the series 46, or series 461, that's from 1946. And there's the 10, the 25 cent. And you can just flip through this and see examples of every single MPC. So if you wanted to know anything about any of these, here you go. Series $6.41, showing the $10 MPC. So that's what they'd look like. Having this book here lets you know exactly what you're hunting for because it has them all. Sort of. Because number 4 on the list, let's see, number 3 on the list. This is number 4. Number 3 is book 2. Once again, it still says 1946 to 1973, but it starts off with the 1965 10-cent note. And that's it. It doesn't give any information about them. It's simply a flip book letting you see exactly what all of the different certificates look like. And if you're going to put together a set, well, here you go. Here's one of each. Now you know exactly what to look for. And you're in business that way. I've got that note. That's really cool. These are oversized prints of the actual notes. But still, these two books together covers one of every single one of the military payment certificates. There's not usually a whole lot of info available on MPCs. So to have this collection like this lets you know if you've got them all. All right, that's number 4. Number 3. Number 2. This is the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, the first 100 years, 1862 to 1962. Yeah, this book is even older than me. I'm just fascinated by older books when you see all the different things that are in them. So I'm assuming that this was printed sometime around 1963. Oh no, copyright 1978 on that particular book. So the first 100 years of the Bureau of Engraving and Printing. Flipping through this gives you all the history of the BEP. There are pictures in here. It shows some of the other countries that stuff was done for. What's that there? United States postage. Yeah, lots of information in this book about the BEP, how it started, where it's located, the different types of prints that they use, and of course the complete history, showing the different machines there. Just very, very cool info. I have not read this entire book, but I probably will. So it's just a really cool book here. Bureau of Engraving and Printing, the first 100 years. That is number 2. And number 1. He sent the story of the American Banknote Company. Now, this hardcover book, if I remember, this book is really impressive for one specific fact. Let me just flip through here real quick. Story of American Banknote Company. What do we got for a copyright date here? All rights reserved. Copyright, there it is, 1959. All right, so we're talking about an old book. And not only is this the story of the American Banknote Company, but if I remember right, I'm pretty sure that Ryan told me that there were notes in the center. These here, if you run your finger across them, you can actually feel them. These are actually printed. This is animals and birds. These are actually printed using plates from the American Banknote Company. And I'm just going to keep flipping to make sure to see what else. Oh, that's interesting. Worldwide map of where their stuff was good. Oh, here's some more. Yep, you can feel it. These are all used with real plates. Now, he was telling me that a lot of times, what is it? Historical evolution of the American Banknote Company. He was telling me a lot of times, here we go. Yeah, you can feel that it's raised off the page. He says a lot of times these books are missing these pages because these are collectible. Here's more, once again, just so cool. And yes, you can feel the raised images on these. A lot of times they're missing that stuff. This is so cool. A lot of times they're missing these pages because these are legit prints from actual plates. So yeah, the fact that this book is intact, it's an original book, very, very cool addition to my collection. That is number 1 this week. All right, guys, if you learned anything new, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. Love reading all your comments. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.